Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart. Best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hey folks, welcome to the SmackDrop Podcast, your one-stop shop for all your WWE, AEW, NXT recap, reviews, pay-per-view predictions. It's Kyle here. Joining me on the headset is Sebastian. Sebastian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. This will make my second Raw in a row. It feels weird.
Yeah, you weren't expected to do this one. Thank you guys for joining us. We're recapping Monday Night Raw this week, of course. We are a pay-per-view, Jesus Christ, pro wrestling podcast. You can find us on Stitcher Radio, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play Music, iTunes, and of course we're on YouTube. Make sure to go ahead and hit like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us out. We got a couple more subs, man. Did you know that?
No. Last time I checked it was Saturday. I think it was the same, so.
No, I linked up with a couple people on Twitter, and they checked us out and subscribed to us. So we got to thank you guys for that. Yeah, man. Got the new camera set up. Hope you guys are liking it. It's actually kind of weird staring at a camera and not the laptop. I'm not gonna lie. So you're gonna see my eyes darting all over the place because this is new for me. Kind of awkward, but long time coming though. Because boy, man, the webcam built into these laptops is like hit and miss quality. I'll tell you that right now. I wonder how Rob's comes out so good. Rob's camera looks actually really nice for whatever he's got. I'm gonna have to ask him what kind of laptop he's got.
Right, his is brand.
His is brand. I mean, mine's new. Mine came out.
Oh yeah, you got yours not long ago.
Yeah, I got mine just a couple months ago. It was I mean, I'm not trying to flex or nothing, but it's an expensive gaming rig over here, you know. But then again, it's intended for gaming, not really camera recording. So I guess that's kind of the obvious here. So yeah, once again, we're here to cover Monday Night Raw. Very divisive. This show. Of course, it wouldn't be WWE if they didn't have an angle that just split people right down the middle. Of course, you got people infuriated over the big reveal during one of the mystery angles of the show, and then other people like, hey man, it's television. It's what they do, you know. Without giving it away, how did you feel about the reveal?
I liked it, man. It was I kind of had a different idea where they were going, but after it was I was okay. The guy I wanted, the character, even though I was fantasy booking it, wouldn't make sense for the character. This was a nice surprise. I ain't seen him in almost 2 years, so.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true.
And good for the person too. I mean, he battled a lot of injuries to get back. So.
Yeah, I heard. Well, we'll definitely get into it a bit here. But before we do, you guys, this show was founded with a bunch of guys that just like to talk pro wrestling with each other, and we decided just to turn cameras on and mics on and start recording the conversations. But if you guys want to talk to us about wrestling, of course we'll talk to you about it too. So hit us up on Twitter at SmackDrawPod, myself at the Kai Tai Show, and Sebastian, of course, is at WrestlingFan_32. I almost forgot your dang thing again, man.
Hi. Vince did forget when I recorded with him the other day.
Yeah.
Come on, Vince.
Get your stuff together, bro. Get your stuff together.
It's the simplest one.
Now, normally we only plug ourselves, but we got to throw a special shout out to our boy Jay Thunder, who's got a big match coming up February 1st, 2020 at CSW Wrestling Northland. I don't know if this is going to be broadcast or if they launch it afterwards, but if you're in the Chicago area, make your way down to 240 North Throop Street, Woodstock, Illinois, to go ahead, see our boy Jay Thunder in action. You know what? I should have asked him ahead of time who his tag team is facing, but I didn't think about it. I'm kind of just spontaneously trying to show him love. But I do know if you're still in that area later on next month, the 26th, him and his tag team partner are going after the gold. That's right. One of our co-hosts is actually going for tag team gold. Man, I want to be there so bad to cheer him on. Like, I can't even lie to you. I've been looking up plane tickets, just trying to figure out any way this would be possible to go cheer our boy.
When is it again?
Person.
February 26th?
February 26th, man.
Ooh, that's the last birthday.
That is?
I'm out on a trip. I don't think she'd take that too well.
No. Oh, man. Something that people didn't take too well either, seems like, is the opening of Monday Night Raw. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar make their scheduled appearance. For Brock Lesnar to announce that he is going to be the number one entrant in the Royal Rumble. So we have our WWE champion in the Royal Rumble, which the segment didn't bother me. Paul Heyman, for one, announced that this is going to be a first. And I'm not sure if that's the case because both Ric Flair and Roman Reigns defended their titles.
Well, I think he meant the first one without defending. Brock isn't defending his title.
Yeah, because you would think they would announce that if that were the case.
Yeah. He's going in just I guess if he wins, he automatically gets the Fiend. And I don't think there's any chance of him winning, though. I really don't. I think it's just going to be a way to set up his Mania program.
I don't know, man. To me, I feel like that's going to be the tempo of the match. You remember the Royal Rumble where it was CM Punk in the Straight Edge Society and he was doing his sermon in the Royal Rumble and just it felt like everybody that came out just got eliminated and then it was him lingering in the ring doing his shtick. I feel like that's going to be the tempo of the Royal Rumble for at least the first half. It's just going to be Brock Lesnar dominates everybody. I have a hard time picturing it going any other way.
I mean, he might dominate the early part. I'm not saying that. I don't see him going all the way from number one. When they said he's the number one entrant, I was like, well, he's not going to be in that ring for 60 minutes.
You think he's going to set the record for most eliminations?
No.
Because Roman Reigns holds it right now with what, like 13?
And the reason I see it going a little less than the CM Punk thing, there's just less. If you go back to that era, the big names some of them were on the shelf. It was a rebuild, and they're kind of rebuilding now. But right now, you got some big names in it already. I think everybody.
That's the thing. It doesn't really matter. It's Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter how big your name is. They're gonna let Brock Lesnar steamroll you most of the time.
I don't see AJ Styles getting thrown out in 10 seconds. Or Randy Orton getting thrown out in 10 seconds. Or Roman Reigns getting thrown. I mean, 9 out of 10 people that they've already announced is going to get time in that match.
Huh. Okay.
Eric Rowan's probably the one guy that maybe I could see. And I don't even really think that's going to happen because that's how I think the Cage is going to get involved. He's going to get lost in all the chaos in the ring, and somebody's just going to catch him off guard and take the cover off. So.
What do you mean? Oh, Eric Rowan's surprise.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
When I heard Cage, I instantly was thinking Steel Cage. My mind went the wrong way, but we'll get to that too. But I mean, that was pretty much the opening segment. Just Paul Heyman saying Brock Lesnar was gonna enter the Royal Rumble. They left us lingering. They didn't even tease us like. And if he wins, this is what he's gonna do. It literally just left us flat. He's in the Royal Rumble.
Well. Heyman really focused on the SmackDown and NXT rosters for some reason when he was talking. He never really talked about the Raw roster. For some reason, he kept it on them. So who knows? Maybe Matt Riddle or Keith Lee. You know, like I said, I think it's going to be something to set up his Mania program one way or the other. And I like it. It's me and Vince kind of was talking about in the group chat. He was like, well, that's just a way for him not to defend his title. But at the same time, Raw has done a really, really good job of building a lot of people right now, and there's no need for a 10-minute Brock match to devalue anybody like they did Samoa Joe or Braun Strowman not long ago.
Okay.
So this has a lot more possibilities to it. It's a lot less predictable. It's no different New Japan putting their champ in the G1 climax every year. It's the same thing, same purpose.
I mean, I'm not trying to poo on it. I want more details. And I guess it's just one of
What?
those things that we have to wait and see.
I think that's the point, though.
Yeah.
It's more question marks, more reasons to tune in.
But what got me excited was kind of just what you touched on. Some of the dream matches of people facing off against Brock who aren't necessarily going to get matches with him. Like, I don't think Matt Riddle's ever going to share a ring with Brock outside of the Royal Rumble, but I think they're going to give Matt Riddle a moment against Brock in the Royal Rumble just because, you know, what the fans like and everything. And I'm trying to think of other people, too. Like, who else has called Brock out on social media before, but you knew was never going to share the ring with him?
I think, too, speaking of Matt Riddle, I think it'd be really cool to have a surprise entry of Goldberg. Have Matt Riddle interact with him, too.
Yeah.
And that would kind of dive into Brock's history of Goldberg at the same time, if you want to make that. I mean, so it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of weird though, because you know the rumor has it if it's 30 Raw, 10 Raw, 10 SmackDown, 10 NXT. Where does that leave Legends? You know, where does that leave surprise entrants, other than like the surprise entrants being people returning that are already active roster members? You know, are we gonna have a year with no Legends?
No, we're gonna have surprises. They always throw out the 15 to 15 number and all that, but we always have Legends. It's always happened.
Yeah, I think the Royal Rumble we should have more people. I think we should have 35 to 40. I really do. The roster's so big.
I remember that year they went 50. That was
yeah. You had the greatest Royal Rumble, which is the largest one, right? And that was 50. And then
remember back in the day, Alberto won the 50-man Royal Rumble.
No, that was. I thought that was a 45.
No, it's 50.
Really? No, I thought that was 45 for sure. Because I thought Alberto Del Rio there was a 45 one, and then the greatest Royal Rumble was the largest Royal Rumble ever done at 50.
I don't know.
Let's see here.
Let's see. That's what I pulled out my phone.
Yeah, Royal Rumble, Alberto Del Rio. It was the 38, and it was a 40 man. It was a 40 man.
40. Okay. Well.
Yeah, and then the greatest, I'm pretty sure, was the 51. In which case, Daniel Bryan set the record for the longest time in a Royal Rumble because of how many people. Yeah. Greatest was the 50 man. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Well, I mean, I was right.
Still can't believe Santino finished second, but
I do think though they should start going to 40 though, 35 to 40.
You can make that argument now.
Yeah.
Only counter argument is the show was already so long.
Yeah.
I want to add 20 minutes to it.
I mean, just cut a pre-show match. You know, just cut a pre-show match and throw the show on a half hour early. There you go. You can account for it that way. I don't know. That's just me though. Following the segment, we had. Now, granted, if we miss backstage segments, we're just going to kind of loop them into the in-ring stuff. So if we miss backstage stuff, I do apologize. But the next up, we had the first of the two title matches of the evening. Rey Mysterio taking on, I'm stuck on Alberto Del Rio. Andrade for the United States Championship. This was a, man, these guys, I just remember thinking, I was like, I wonder if Rey is getting the Kurt Angle treatment and he's getting to handpick his opponents, because it's all I can think about is flashbacks of WCW days of Rey taking on Eddie Guerrero. The chemistry that him and Andrade have in the ring is awesome, and then not to mention Zelina Vega plays her role perfectly in these matchups. Man,
it was fun. You know me, I'm usually anti-shenanigans.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I loved everything about this match. I think the all three of them played the roles perfect. Down to the only problem was I was kind of confused. The ref at the end kind of made Rey go back outside the ring and then come back.
That didn't make sense. So it looked like Rey Mysterio had the win at one point. He gets the pin on Andrade after Canadian Destroyer. And Zelina Vega gets Andrade's foot on the ropes, but the ref still gives a 3 count. Which the first argument here, which it's WWE logic, so I'm not gonna hang on to it too tight. But you know, we've had matches where they get called one way, and then the ref's like, oh, you know, it's the ref's call at the time, and they don't get overturned on the spot. But then you have other matches like this for obvious story purposes. They overturn it immediately after they make the call. Because like, what was the one with when Brock went through the cage and hit the ground first, but he still ended up winning, and they stuck to it because the ref made the call in the moment. But then you got matches like this where they flip it. But trust me, I'm just feeling airtime with this.
It's definitely a inconsistency.
But after the call, they restart the match, and the match spills to the outside, and Andrade ends up launching Rey Mysterio into Zelina at one point after Rey had hurt his shoulder by being tossed into the ring steps. So they spill back into the ring with Zelina laid out outside. And yeah, Rey's got a hurt shoulder, and the ref gets in the way from Andrade hitting the hammerlock DDT. It allows Rey to roll out the ring for whatever reason.
He was checking on Zelina.
It was just... It's like, hold on, we got to stop the match. Rey's worried about your manager, okay? But anyways, yeah, so it was a little bit of a weird thing. Rey plays the babyface. You can hear him saying, like, look, man, I got a wife. I would never do this. He gets in the ring and still eats the hammerlock DDT, which begs the question, what was the purpose of the ref getting in the way to begin with? He was already about to eat the hammerlock DDT. Rey was about to eat the finisher and get pinned. The ref breaks it up. He goes out the ring, comes back in, and still ends up eating the finisher with nothing in between. So I
think the purpose may have been to make people think it wasn't a planned spot, like Zelina getting taken out.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I felt like they just wanted to give Rey some more babyface shine.
That could have been it too. It was all weird. That little 30-second window right there kind of threw me off, but the rest of it was really good.
Yeah, I say don't let it detract from it being an awesome match, because it arguably was match of the night. Yeah, I don't even think it's arguably. I think it's fairly simple. Like, it ended up being match of the night.
So if you're a big tag team guy, I guess you could go tag team. Not a match.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so after the match, Andrade rips the mask off of Rey Mysterio. They don't pan on his face. They still hide his face. So it wasn't like a face reveal, even though we've gotten it in the past on a couple occasions.
They put a towel on his head.
Yeah. Which this did lead to a backstage segment later on, Andrade being interviewed, and then Rey Mysterio attacking Andrade with his mask off, but of course the camera only sees the back of his head. Rey retrieves his mask after a prolonged beatdown and walks off. Did he announce any type of match after that, or was it just settle the score?
No match for now.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe we get a hair versus mask match.
Yeah, people have been asking for that for a while. I wonder what. I mean, they wouldn't have Rey lose the mask, so Andrade would have to shave his head. I don't know. Man.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Yeah.
I did like that. I know a lot of people was like, well, Rey cared more about Zelina and even the manager. I thought that went toward Zelina and Andrade's characters more than anything, though. Like, I feel like Zelina, even if she gets hit, she don't give a fuck. Okay, I'll stop myself, Kyle. You should be proud. She don't care. She wants Andrade to go get that win. Because that was their story in NXT. Zelina didn't care about showboating or anything. She just wanted Andrade to win matches. I felt like that played into their character perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And him getting a mask and taking it to Zelina as
a trophy.
Yes, I just thought the whole thing.
It is nice. I mean, they're treating Andrade right, but they got to give him. It sounds bad saying they got to give him direction. He's obviously got direction. He's got gold, but I want to see him keep the momentum. I don't want to see the 50-50 booking. I do want the feud with Rey to have a conclusive ending, and let them both move on. Let Rey move on to his farewell tour, and let Andrade move on to his path of dominance. That's what I would like to see. Following this, had a match that had a lot of people scratching their head what the point of it was, which is the three-way tag team championship match. You got the Street Profits taking on the OC, taking on the Viking Raiders. The story behind this is the OC apparently have the Viking Raiders' number. They're the only tag team on Raw to actually hand them losses. And then Street Profits interjected themselves because they have the OC's number. They've been able to beat the OC, who are beating the champions. So it kind of keeps everybody on a level playing field. During the match, though, we didn't really have any type of huge. It was just a straightforward match. It was decent. I'm not gonna lie. Granted, my attention was kind of diverted, so I could have missed some big spots because I was kept at work an hour late. So I didn't miss an hour of the show, but a lot of it was just listening to the audio portion while I was either working or driving home. But this match was straightforward, and you ended up having. You had the Carl Anderson eat the pin, right? Is who it ended up being. Yeah, the Viking Raiders retained their title. No shenanigans. Not that there really can be shenanigans in a triple threat match because there's no rules, even though you can only have two men in the ring at a time, so there are rules, but there's no DQ. It really, if you think about it for too long, man, it'll make your head hurt. But anyways, yeah, so, I mean, Viking Raiders, they won straight up. I don't really know how much to add to it and where anybody goes from this. Or was there some detail I missed?
No, I think it was just really. I think they're really trying to build the Viking Raiders. I think that our Mania tag match is going to be AOP and them, and they want them both to be as dominant looking as they possibly.
Yeah, and I guess you got to start handing them clean victories and stuff like that over level competition instead of enhancement talent.
And also. Which they've always got crowd reactions, like the Street Profits I'm talking about, especially like on the mic and stuff. But it seems like their matches have kind of been quiet lately. Last night the crowd was fully behind. Wherever that continues to be a trend, like during matches, and see what that does for them. Who knows? Maybe they don't want to take the belts off if they get enough momentum.
Who are you talking about? Street Profits?
Yeah, I mean the crowd was absolutely behind them. Even when they wasn't in the match, they wanted the Street Profits in that match.
Oh yeah, I mean they're about as clean cut baby faces as you can get because they have personality. That's the thing about people think that if you're a baby face that the crowd's gonna boo you. It's like no, it's just WWE's idea of baby faces is stripped of personality and just smiling and pandering. Where you have the Street Profits, they just ooze personality but do good guy stuff. You know what I mean?
Especially Montez, man. Montez is a star.
Yeah.
I don't want the Street Profits to break up anytime soon, but down the line, I would really like to see a Montez single run somewhere down the line.
Yeah, maybe Dawkins has like a kayfabe injury and then backs Montez up, at like a mid-card title run.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I'm not saying WWE. It could be US or IC. I don't care. I would like to see what the kid.
See what he can do in a singles run.
Yeah.
He can get the crowd fired up. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. I'm a fan of all three tag teams. I'm not mad at the titles not changing hands. I'm actually a huge Viking Raiders backer in this. It is what it is at the moment, and we'll just have to see where the cards lie in the future. Going forward, so the angle of the night ends up being Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Their main event match is going to be taking place against AOP and Seth Rollins. Samoa Joe tells Kevin Owens that he has enlisted the help of a third man. Kevin Owens is kind of nervous because, him and Samoa Joe have done some bad stuff, rubbed people the wrong way. So it plays along this whole who is it line, and that's kind of the angle that's been played up to this point in the evening. Samoa Joe says, hey, look, I'll show you who it is. Will that help your fears? And Kevin Owens says, yeah. Charlie Caruso, who's been backstage, interview him. They all go to a back room. Samoa Joe lets Kevin Owens peek in the dressing room. Obviously the audience doesn't know who it is. But afterwards he says, we good? Kevin Owens says, yeah, we're good. And then that sets up the mystery angle for the big reveal at the end of the night. Are we going to have a big return, a debut? You know, there's a lot of intrigue.
I wonder what the mystery guy was faking though. KO just opened the door and looked in and walked right back out. Didn't say a word.
Well,
Kayfabe wise, I bet he was like, well, what the hell is his problem?
he's just trying to get changed or something. Yeah, man, I can see that. I can see that for sure. We got a Becky Lynch segment, so this was a confusing segment to me. Maybe you can explain it because I was still on the road. I was trying to listen in. Becky Lynch is almost going back and forth with this match against Asuka. Originally was set up because she said the powers that be are protecting her. Asuka has her number, so they don't want her to lose. So Becky Lynch, obviously to prove it to herself and to the fans, calls out Asuka, uses the match as a contract negotiating tactic. This week she says she comes out though, and now she's questioning whether she made the right decision. Of course, before. Yeah, what'd you take from this before Asuka
Man,
obviously came out?
I liked it. For me, I love when characters show a different side. This was really the first time we've ever seen Becky Lynch, the man, show any doubt. She showed all the clips of Asuka beating her, making her tap, pin her, whatever. And she just really wondering if she should have listened. You know, but that's what I liked about it. And there's another segment kind of similar, and that's why I loved that segment too later on. Just the character showing a different side. More in-depth character.
Adding depth.
Yes.
Yeah, character depth, which is never a bad thing, especially in WWE.
Yeah. And, you know, it's logical, man. It's a story that a lot of people can relate to. It's easy to get invested in. She puts over how important the match is to her. She's practically asking what will her run mean if she loses to Asuka and loses the belt. What will her will the Mania main event kind of just not look as important? Stuff like that. And then Asuka comes out and cuts a. I mean, I don't know what she was saying, but you could tell she was just mocking Becky. You didn't have to understand the.
Yeah, because she was obviously cutting a promo in Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously.
You know what I loved about the promo?
What?
It didn't follow the WWE rhythm, where it was like talk,
what
pause,
chant?
what, talk, pause,
yes.
what. No, just Asuka just laid in, and I swear she didn't take a breath for like a minute, laying into Becky. That crowd never had a chance to what her. And in the and in the brief pauses, if you did hear a what chant, it was like a straggler. It was not like a unified crowd what chant, which was nice. A nice little touch, because obviously if you're going to cut a promo in a foreign language, you cannot have predictable pauses, because the crowd is going to what you, and it's going to detract from it. So to me, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
They were really smart, not just the pace of it, but as she was walking down, they kept her not as loud as it usually would be, but her music was still playing.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they were some, you wouldn't hear them anyway.
Exactly.
So they were very smart on how they played the whole thing, I thought. Like I said, it was obvious she was mocking Becky, and Becky doubting herself, and the champ responded. She gave her a nice right hand and laid her out, and walked off like the man she is.
Yeah. When was the dude? I love she just decks you. The last one was what? Oh, the security. Trying to get in between her and Charlotte and the Kabuki Warriors, and she decked the security.
I am very invested in this match. This whole story has just anytime you can bring realism into it, like the backstage politics and stuff like that, it's really good.
Just not that, just continuity. They had video packages from over the last year. Showing the pinfalls, not just like something they threw together last month. Oh, Becky got pinned last month, and now this is the story. Like, no, they can go all the way back to last year's Royal Rumble, and I think even before that, because Asuka won the ladder TLC. So you can go more than a year back and find wins that Asuka has over Becky. Now, granted, this is so fresh in our mind, but I don't think Becky has a victory over Asuka. Um,
I don't believe.
I don't think so.
I don't
man.
think so.
I don't think so. So yeah, no continuity, man. If you can get continuity in pro wrestling, more power to you. It's gonna make it more enjoyable. I'm sorry, I just had to pause. I heard my kid screaming, and it's always hard to tell if he's screaming because he's having fun or if he's screaming because he's hurt. But yeah, he's just having fun up there. Next up, so next up, we have all the Eric Rowan stuff. Okay, listen, this is where it gets silly. So the whole thing has gone from don't look in my carrying cage to now I want to show everybody and mortify them. Like, I don't get this. So Eric Rowan is backstage and Mojo Rawley is back there and he's pleading with him. He's like, come on, man, let me see what's in the cage. Let me see what's in there. And all of a sudden, Eric Rowan, who is deathly against it, like he will murder you for trying to take a peek, is just like, yeah, go ahead, just don't tell nobody. And so I think this is just proof of something we already knew. WWE has no idea what's in that cage. They're just writing it week for week. Mojo Rawley gets a peek inside, completely mortified. He's shot back. He's screaming at Rowan, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And
if you had a chance to terrify Mojo Rawley, when his personality, I would do anything to ruin that man's life.
I'm telling you, man.
Mojo comes out, and I'm like, God, I just want somebody to punch him.
I don't mind
I was
Mojo,
happy.
man. I
was scared Mojo. I hope Mojo has nightmares for 4 weeks. Like, I hope he can't sleep at night. That's what I hope.
But this led to Eric Rowan going out and having a match with another enhancement talent. I think his name is KJ Orso. And once again, Eric Rowan's now trying to get the guys to look in the cage instead of stay away from the cage. This local enhancement says, nah, I'm going to have a match with you. He's slipping and sliding out of Rowan's hands until ultimately he is defeated by Rowan with the Iron Claw Slam. And then Rowan, after the match, drags him over to the cage, shoves his face in it. The dude's mortified and screaming, and then runs off comically up the ramp with his face looking like it's covered in blood.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if you saw that where you was listening to audio, like blood or...
No, by this point, I believe I'm home. I'm home watching it.
Okay.
Yeah, but...
Yeah,
but they've
it's
got a
weird.
complete
It is a change of pace.
So
last week was the first week I was sitting here thinking, okay, this is getting boring. I need to change it. And they did. I don't know if it's the way I would change it up or not. But with this kind of storyline, I don't know how many options you got as far as changing that up.
So this kind of leaves you to the point where it's got to be something dead in there, right? It's got to be something dead, whether it be as gruesome as a severed animal head or maybe some roadkill. But it's got to be something dead, implied by the blood and implied by someone. Huh?
It's a Luke Harper head. So.
Well, if it's like Mae Young's hand.
Oh.
Like Luke Harper got his hands on that junk. It was nasty.
I don't know.
It's so nasty.
I don't know. I think that's how this is going to play out, though. At the Rumble, I have all the chaos. And it could happen by accident, too. You could have somebody thrown over the top rope and their legs hit the cage on the steel steps or something. I think at the Rumble, we're finally going to figure out what's in this cage.
Dude, I think it's just a dead raccoon. That's all I think it is. I bet he's just got some roadkill. He found some roadkill on the side of the road, and he put it in a freaking burlap sack, and now he carries it around.
I mean, I don't know what it is. I am interested, though. I kind of want to see it.
Don't get your hopes up. This is one of those things.
I don't think it's going to be anything huge. Like, I don't expect 4 years from now we're going to be like, damn, remember what was in Rowan's cage? But last week was the first time I was like, okay, I'm starting to get bored from this. And then they changed the pace up this week. So I'll give them that.
Oh, man.
I don't think it's anything bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it ain't going to be anything crazy. AJ Styles defeated Tozawa in a match designed to mock Randy Orton from last week's injury angle that Orton played off. You have AJ Styles, obviously, has the match well in hand, opts out of using his own finisher, does an RKO, a very nice looking cutter, by the way, too. AJ can throw a hell of a cutter. Although I imagine a cutter is not the hardest the hardest move to throw.
Randy made fun of him, though.
Oh, I bet.
See that on Twitter?
No,
Randy retweeted and said, "Yeah, you really got up on that one, Uncle AJ." I didn't get very high.
Yeah. But he drove him down. That's the thing is, you saw him drive him down. He drove him down, man. Yeah, not much to go off of here. It was just.
Oh no, this made me very happy. Okay,
Okay,
here's why. Well, okay. Before I get in my personal words, I did like seeing AJ in the squash match. That's a guy you don't really see in these matches, so that was different. But they announced Randy Orton and AJ Styles for next week. I know they had a match at Mania, but before that was one of my dream matches of all time. Right? I always felt like they really meshed well. Next week, I get to see their second one-on-one in person.
Yeah, you're going to the next week's show. That's awesome.
That meant the world to me when they announced that. It really did. Like, it meant the world to me. I've always wanted to see that. So, really happy with it.
Nice, yeah, because both the shows that I went to had the SmackDown roster. I went to the first.
This is my second one ever.
Yeah,
so
and you're going to Raw for the second time. Yeah, you're gonna have fun.
Yeah, they announced a lot of stuff, and I'll not say all that next week. I'll do like a little preview for next week, but a short one, just say what it announced. But yeah, next week looks like a fun show to attend. I'm really happy with what they announced.
I'm stoked for you. Yeah, the angle cut out with AJ Styles doing Randy Orton poses in the ring while his music played. I felt like they should have played Randy Orton music, but that's just a small gripe. Yes, I forgot. Next up is all the Rusev and Lana and Bobby stuff. Okay, so here we go.
Welcome.
This
is Rusev.
Yeah.
Or Rusev Day.
Oh man,
Oh.
I'm done. I'm checking out, man. Look. I get it. You don't have to make the argument. YouTube's pulling a lot of views. Eyes are on it, no matter what. This is just, oh my gosh.
This is Rusev for Rusev.
Well, see, no. So this picture I have for Rusev is ridiculous. I ripped it off of WWE's timeline.
Oh, it's a ridiculous background. Like nothing.
So first of all, we'll get into the drama. Following the what segment was it? Before it was the AJ Styles match, right?
Yeah.
Following this, the preacher or the reverend from last week's segment is getting in the ring.
Yes.
And security, who just don't know crap, doesn't realize he's part of the act, and they tackle the guy in the ring. And what's wonderful is the camera still cutting to trying to get the preview for the commercial break. Cuts to the security tackling the guy and wrestling him down in the ring, and then they just have to pan off to the crowd and cut to commercial, and it was so good. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, it was awesome. I will say this. I don't know who reported it. It might have been Dave, but I did see this morning that somehow, for some stupid reason, that this was planned. I don't think it was planned.
Hell
okay?
No.
But if it was, Paul Heyman's a genius for putting it.
Dude. I mean,
I don't think it was.
If it was planned, it was for the viral views. You know what I mean? Yeah, but that's going meta. That's going very meta.
Paul Heyman's a genius for it.
Yeah, hey, look.
Either way you go, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's true. But anyways, we have so you have the Reverend in there. We cut back. Bobby Lashley and Lana. The big.
His hair's messed up.
Yes, so bad.
It was awesome.
I can tell how much I love that you're getting so much joy out of this, and I just want to fucking piss through it.
I love it, man. Him getting tackled, dude, was the best thing. Like, I was like, It was so funny.
Oh man.
Like either way you go, even if Heyman doesn't plan that, and it is unplanned, like imagine being that guy. Okay, he's walking in there thinking he's doing his job. Then he just gets attacked. It's great.
The last time we saw this was when Gronkowski was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, interfering with it, and security wouldn't let him in because he was jumping the barricade, and he had to tell him, like, look, I'm part of the show. But that wasn't as bad. They didn't actually tackle Gronk down. They were just, it was just like a lady trying to hold him off. But
me walking in to work or something, and just getting jumped by 3 huge guys.
Jesus Christ. What are you doing here? I work here. What the hell?
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's what you get for being a new hire.
Oh.
Anyways, Bobby and Lana, they finally get married in the least dramatic fashion.
Well, I mean, that guy was probably so sore.
Yeah, it's like you may kiss the bride, and they like maybe
I'm going home.
Yeah, maybe Rusev's getting pissed off about all the making out they were doing because they give each other like the second grade peck on the lips. Like there was no passion in the kiss this time, unlike when they would just like suck face originally.
Yeah, the preacher's like, I'm going home. I've had enough. Just you kiss the bride.
Yeah. Rusev appears on the Titantron afterwards to cut them off. Rusev pretty much claims that, hey, listen, I'm living my best life. You guys are the ones that are miserable. And Lana starts to go on her tirade like normal, and this is where the seeds are sown. I'll give him this. Bobby Lashley told Lana to shut up.
That's when they got.
Yeah, man. Bobby was like, shut up. And Lana just stared at him. Bobby Lashley cut his promo on Rusev, said, fight me next week. Rusev said no and said he's going to revert back to his Bulgarian Brute character. Only thing is, he resembles nothing of the Bulgarian Brute. Neither the look nor his cadence. He just strikes me as handsome Rusev. He's handsome Rusev now. He's not going to get that. That's going to be a hard aura to recapture that monster that he was previously, that rolled in at WrestleMania on a tank that took everybody out with the Accolade and everything. It was just, I don't see that Rusev coming back, man. I don't. And it made Rusev's claim to bringing back the Bulgarian Brute really feel hollow to me. But I'm not trying to sit here I'm overdoing it, man. You know what I mean? It just felt weird. It didn't feel as, like I said, like when Daniel Bryan re-debuted as, the American Dragon recently, that looks like the old Daniel Bryan. That feels like the old Daniel Bryan. This just felt like an empty claim, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, to be fair to Daniel, kind of looks the same, like body-wise. Rusev, I believe, has lost some weight since the...
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, his body, and also his hair. He doesn't have the long hair anymore.
Yeah, but even if he had the same hair, he wouldn't look as dominating as he did before. But just the segment in general, like I referred to Rowan earlier, just a change of pace. They did a really good job camera work on when Lashley was getting frustrated with Lana and then told him to shut up. You could see it was brewing in him. Yeah. And when they got serious, they got me, man. I was kind of into it. Just what they were saying to each other. It went from like a very playful comedy feud to them just wanting to seriously get in there and kill each other. So
yeah, I honestly, I'm all for giving Lashley mic time. Lashley's good on the mic. People say he's boring. It's because you haven't really heard him that much. Lashley is good on the mic. You just have to give him time. You gotta let him cut more than one promo at a time, too. Meaning, don't let him cut a promo and then give him 2 months before he cuts the next one. Let this dude come in and week out and cut promos, because you get better through repetition as well.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I mean?
I think what he struggles with, because they did give him some promos when he first came back, and I didn't really like him. I think he flourishes better.
Well, not to mention,
I know he had some impact.
He was a baby face when he came back.
Well, yeah. When you're in Impact, I can't really say they're scripted or non-scripted. I'm not sure, but it seems like they're more off the cuff. So there's a difference between that too. But like you said, give them some more and see what we can do.
Yeah. What we have next? What we have next over here?
We had Sarah Logan and Charlotte Flair.
Is that what I have next on here? Yeah, that is it. So what happened here? I missed this.
Well, they were supposed to have a match, and they just ended up having a brawl.
I saw Sarah Logan got the early jump on Charlotte, and from what I gathered through the Twitter videos that came out, Charlotte, of course, came out on top. And that's judging by the screenshot I have here as well. It shows Charlotte, I believe, putting her robe back on after what appears to be a successful beatdown on Logan.
Logan, she
She
put some
looked
licks in,
aggressive.
though.
Like I said, from the clips I saw, because I missed this. Somehow I missed this entirely.
Yeah, it's one of them segments where you don't really know how successful it is until you have the follow-up.
That's
You know what I mean?
Very
This,
true.
this really doesn't do anything for Charlotte, but this could do a lot for Sarah if they do it right. And next week it is in Lexington, and that's not far at all from Sarah's hometown. So they didn't announce it, but I assume we'll be getting that rematch next week.
There you go. And Logan will be losing because you cannot have the hometown hero win in their hometown.
I mean, even if she loses, though,
Yeah.
going from where she's been, and if it's a competitive match too, if they make a match out of it, then even with a loss, you don't have to win every match.
All right.
You go from riding the bench to giving a 10-time champ a competitive match.
We'll see. We'll have to see. Following that, Drew McIntyre. Okay, so here we go. Now the ball is starting to roll with Drew after coming off of a very good promo and squash match last week over, I believe, Hawkins and Ryder.
He's been having good promos for the last 2 months.
He comes out. He's scheduled to face No Way Jose. He destroys No Way Jose's conga line and then destroys No Way Jose. This served as a precursor for the night's promo where he officially announces himself in the Royal Rumble, and he also addresses the fact that in the time he's been on the main roster, he has yet to have a World Championship match, which feels like a robbery. But then again, I would rather him not have a world title match this whole time than him to be in Samoa Joe's shoes and have 8 title matches that he lost every single one. Or like the same thing with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's lost a ton of world title matches, and now they don't feel quite as impactful in the world title scene, where you don't have that with Drew McIntyre. It's just a matter of Drew McIntyre hasn't been to the dance yet, so you don't know what would happen if he got there. Whereas Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, you feel like if they're in the world title match, they're eating the pin, you know? So it's kind of like a double-edged sword here. But I'm excited to see how he does in the Royal Rumble. Is he going to face off with Brock, or is he going to come in after Brock's been eliminated to keep them away from each other?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All the reports say it's going to be Kane and Brock. From everything I've seen,
Kane's out, man. Kane's out, man.
Yeah,
He's
he has to
getting
have knee surgery.
Yeah.
And Tyson, I believe, won't be at the Rumble because isn't his next boxing match in February, early February?
I don't
So
have
I
the
assume
date
he's
down,
preparing
but
for
yeah,
that.
he's facing a killer. Like,
Yeah.
Tyson Fury is facing a killer in Deontay Wilder, and they're not gonna do a program with Fury if he gets knocked out in his boxing match, because then he loses
And-
a lot of the shine that he has.
And I don't see Fury being at the Rumble a week or two while he's training for this match either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't
you definitely
know.
don't want to go out and play pro wrestler when you're about to
Yeah.
face one of the most dangerous men in the planet. No,
Yeah.
you need to be 100% in that match that you're
So-
scheduled for.
So I don't know. I don't see a clear path for Brock right now for Mania. That's why I really like him being in the Rumble match. It sets up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Also, you can gauge crowd reaction. Vince has gone by crowd reaction before, listening to who people cheer and what gets the biggest reaction, and then going forward with that. I'm trying to think of a situation where that was the case. I can't think of one, but I know I've heard of it, where Vince based off of cheers and boos, went a certain direction with the story role. I just can't remember. Well, anyways, yeah, I'm excited to see Drew in the main event of WrestleMania. That's what I'm shooting for here. Following that, we have the Aleister Black and Shelton Benjamin match, which is essentially not a squash match, but obviously still fairly one-sided with Aleister Black winning. And at the end of the match, Aleister Black is jumped by his now longtime rival, Buddy Murphy. Did you see the footage or the picture online? Apparently, Black and Murphy had a house show match, and Black knocked out Murphy's tooth, or one of his teeth.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I saw the picture, man. It looks like a Tic Tac laying in the ring, man. Like, it's typically what a tooth looks like, too. Yeah, people saying stop. These two need to chill out, man. You got people losing teeth now. Which
No, don't chill out. You keep going.
yeah, it happens. Who was it? When on AJ Styles' debut match, he knocked out either Chris Jericho or the Miz's teeth.
It was the Miz.
The Miz with like a backhand. Yeah, he knocked out like a couple teeth. That's crazy. Ooh. Yeah, if you ever want to know how real it is, it gets sometimes. Look no further than that, or when Cesaro came down teeth first on the ring post. Yeah, God, that's still one of the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen. And he still continued the damn match. Like a freaking psychopath.
He went a while after that match, too. I think he went like 15 after that.
Oh my God, dude.
It wasn't, oh no, he's hurt, we gotta wrap it up. No, they stayed in there an awful long time.
Dude, my ass would have just ran to the back. I would have fallen out the ring, would have run to the back. You guys call it on the fly. I'm out, man. I am done. That is it. I'm contemplating my career choices. You know, like oh man. But yeah, Murphy and Black, they're going all the way to Royal Rumble. Murphy's gonna get his win. He ain't gonna get it clean though. He's gonna get a. I'm gonna call the next time these guys link up in a big match. Murphy's gonna get the win with the assist of a chair or a weapon. I don't think it's gonna be like a dirty roll up or anything. He's gonna lay Black out, but it's gonna take a weapon to do it. Maybe he's got like a steel knee pad, and that's how he does it or something. I don't know. He's got a hell of a V trigger. He does. Like, he can throw the hell out of a knee like Kenny Omega. It's awesome. But following this, we have the main event of the night and the big reveal. So, who did you say you fantasy booked?
At the time, and this is mostly because how they presented it. When they opened the door, it was a dark room.
Yeah.
So automatically, I went to Aleister Black in my head.
Okay.
But after the show, really thinking about it, I don't think him teaming with anybody is an Aleister Black kind of thing, character-wise.
No,
He's more of a loner type, so, you know, even though I fancy booked it, I was completely okay with not being it.
Yeah, and if you've been watching the YouTube version, this junk got spoiled within seconds of the show because it's in the ticker. But, yeah, Big Show was the big surprise here. This felt like a freaking wet fart for a lot of people.
Screw those people.
Dude, I saw so many people like mocking, like not mocking it, but just being like super sarcastic. Like Vince, the 90s, you know, Vince calls the 90s like, hey, we have a bunch of wrestlers under 40, but I need the Big Show in the main event. And something like that, stupid. Like the Big Show was taking someone's spot. Like, no, dude, it's an episode of Raw. Okay, it's not like the Big Show was a huge surprise on a pay-per-view or a big story angle. It was literally a throwaway angle for Monday Night Raw. Like that's,
and it's a no-win situation too. A lot of people was like, well, "You can bring somebody from NXT." Well, if they did that, you'd be screaming about the brand split.
Yeah, man.
I mean, there's really no winning, no matter what here.
People just wanted this to be a super dramatic. Like John Cena Edge-esque return. I'm like, dude, they built this angle up over the course of a couple hours. It's not like they've been teasing this for weeks or months. You know what I mean? This whole story started and finished on the same show. Like, come on,
Well,
man.
I don't know about finish because they did announce something.
Well, yeah. The match ends by DQ when they take a chair to Big Show. Who,
And, we're talking about booking wise. I will say this. Sometimes you gotta look past booking and just think like a human. When Big Show came out and I saw a smile on Big Show's face, I was extremely happy for the
yeah, because he release that he had to overcome multiple surgeries just to get back on his feet.
There's a documentary on WWE Network. You can go back and watch. He went through hell with his injuries. He really did.
Yeah.
So I was extremely happy for the guy. The crowd popped. The crowd loved it. And it was a genuine surprise.
Mhm.
First time in 2 years, nobody called that. It was what they said it was, a surprise teammate,
Yeah.
So, more than anything, I was happy for Big Show the man. He's given a lot to the business over the years. So good for him to just be able to come back and work a week or two.
Yeah, I had no problem with it.
So-
I mean, granted, it didn't blow me away. I was like, oh, okay. This was a moment for the Big Show and get him out there. Cool. And it's just it's an easy extension of the story. Keep it moving. So yeah, I was like, good for him. It doesn't. Not everything needs to blow you away. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's the internet, and the internet's obviously designed for people to complain, and that's what they're gonna do. But overall, man, Raw was fairly good. I'd say it was probably in the middle. I don't think it had any really terrible segments. It didn't have anything mind blowing either. It
really hasn't, like, other than Alana and Lashley and Russo stuff, Raw's really been a nonsense show. And a lot of people say this about Paul, and, if you watch Raw the last 2 months, it's true. He gets the most from everybody. You can go down the roster, and 90% of them is in a better place now than what they were before, the brand split.
Yeah.
Last week I went down the roster, and the only ones I could really say was maybe the Street Profits, you could say, is on even par, and Sarah Logan, which she even got a moment this week. Not everybody's been booked really well on Raw. I've enjoyed Raw more than I have SmackDown the last 2 months. Now, if you told me that 2 months ago, I'd call you crazy. I really would.
But anyways, man, yeah, that was our episode of Raw. Thank you guys for joining us. I know it's a little.
Wait. I did say I'd do this. Next week, I get to be there in person, and they spoiled me, okay? We got Styles and Randy Orton. We got Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black. We got Rusev and Lashley in what looks to be a serious match. Hopefully that's still the case. With Liv Morgan at ringside, by the way. We forgot that. Liv Morgan will be at ringside. Brock Lesnar. I've never seen Brock Lesnar in person. That'll be a first time for me. And also the first ever WWE fist fight between KO, Samoa Joe, and the Big Show versus Seth Rollins and AO. So it sounds like a really fun show, and I can't wait, man.
No, I'm happy for you, man, and we'll definitely be we'll have to record Tuesday morning so we can get your live perspective as well.
For sure.
On the show, which is gonna be awesome. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. For you guys, also stay tuned. Later in the week, hopefully we got this. I know it's coming kind of late. Everyone's already done it, but we do have the Smacked Raw Awards coming up later in the week. We're just trying to figure out. We're supposed to be shooting it tonight, but a lot of stuff's coming up. It might not be doable tonight, but we'll figure it out. Just keep an eye out for it. Hopefully, we don't just relegate it to like a Twitter post. It might honestly just be like a Twitter post.
Yeah.
But maybe
if you're a fan of our throwbacks, we got a throwback next week as well.
Yeah, which we're doing what? Royal Rumble 02?
No, 2000.
2000. Royal Rumble 2000. Okay. And,
So we're going to be recording that.
Yeah. And then, of course, don't forget to, our next shows are going to be our Wednesday shows where we cover NXT, AEW. Sebastian, of course, hosts SmackDown. You'll see him there. We're back on the schedule, but really, I think that's it for now. So thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, man. Y'all have a good one.
You'll see us tomorrow. Have a good one.
Peace.